Exactly what we want to see, Jeremy.
Yeah, and what's so cool, each of these three battles, these two battles between three cars, a mistake there for number 84 car.
And it's three wide coming off the
on the inside.
There's a touch between the Mazda and the BMW, the former leading BMW, and Steven Simpson in the 85 BM goes from third to first, three wide after the 10th and final corner, and Simpson in the 54 car takes the lead on lap number 63.
Of that battle here, fantastic, fantastic, and the leaders are right. The overall race leader, Robin Liddell, who's charging as hard as he possibly can. He lost about a second on that last lap because both of them have a clear run, no traffic, but that'll change.
Well, that was quite a hard hit between the 84 BMW and Christian Simchak. That was the battle for fourth. Amazing stuff. The two leaders just getting caught up and outbraking themselves. And Steven Simpson, with a master stroke of opportunistic driving, went from 6th to 4th in one deft manoeuvre.
Swell foop.
Yep, leader coming through those guys at the moment as well. Meantime, in ST at the head of the field, first, second and third, oddly, are absolutely together. And they've just been passed by the 21 of Cameron Lawrence. He's a couple of laps, make that 4 laps off the leader Robin Liddell, but sitting in 8th position. Damien Faulkner in the 35 Porsche for CJ Wilson in 7th. 6th, Trent Hinman, about 40 seconds up the road. In fact, Damien taking 7/10 out of Trent last time around. Ahead of Trent Hinman in 5th position, Mark Miller. He's got about a minute and a quarter on the 12 car. 4th, Dylan Matchoven.
Yeah, what a good job.
That is a very good job in that 28 Porsche.
Absolutely hanging on to Matt Plum, which is no mean feat. Magnificent effort, I think.
Here's Owen Trinkler going for second in ST. The door unceremoniously closed ahead of him by Eric Voss. That's fine. Down the hill at 4 to 5. And this time Voss can't challenge the leader because he was too busy defending.
So 15 minutes remaining in this race.
I don't want this to end, Jeremy. Can we keep going?
Yeah, can Jesse Lazare close that gap? You know Robin Liddell's not going to give anything away.
Now, Robin Liddell last time a 27.896. Jesse Lazare 27.865.
Yeah, and traffic looming in the ST class.
The leading Mini of James Vance, the 37 in ST, just starting to get a little bit squirrely, under braking and on turn in. Sort of turning in and immediately catching the slide, and he's slow out the final corner, and Voss was right up the tailpipes of the Mini. Now, can Trinkler make an advantage out of this in 3rd position in ST? Through the diving first corner. The Mini again dangling its rear left-hand tyre. Trinkler just trying to hold on there. This is great stuff. Now another dive down the hill into a little bit of shade at the bottom of turn 2. The Mini runs wide. Voss holds a tighter line. Half a second between the top 3 in ST. Magic stuff. Owen Trinkler just able to turn the Ultimate in a tiny little bit tighter than the Porsche came in ahead of him. I don't know what that means, but I've noticed it for a little while yet. Does struggle in the slower corners, as Robin Liddell in the 57 car still hasn't got up to that battle and past them. Now he is the next car back. Oh, and Trinkler again got a good run out of Moss Corner, and he's side by side with Eric Voss in the bright orange Porsche. Oh, they nearly touched going up the top of the brow, coming into turn 8. Now, we've seen this before, and Voss held on the inside of turn number 8, and he's done it again. So they come into the final corner.
Yeah, and looming right behind them now. Yep, the race leader.
Now, this is crucial for not just these 3, Jeremy, but also for Robin Liddell. He's got 4 seconds on Jesse Lazare, but a fumble, an off-track moment, and that will disappear like snow on a summer's day. Liddell, headlights ablaze, coming down to turn number 3. Now, Owen Trinkler is a very experienced driver. He'll see him first. The second place car of Jesse Lazare now just coming down to the bottom of the hill, and he's got the 28 car of Dylan, no, excuse me, that's Matt Plum and Dylan Matchevin together.
Which is that fabulous battle. That is for third place for the final step on the podium.
Robin Liddell in between first and second in ST. Now, is this going to be an advantage for Eric Voss? Did he get any kind of draft from behind Robin Liddell's Camaro? I think not. And once again, Owen Trinkler tries round the left-hand side. Puts him on the wrong side of the road, of course, for turning into the right-hander. He just needs to get a little bit more of an overlap. He's got it there, and here comes the second place. McLaren, that might get in the mix as well here.
Yeah, Voss tucks in behind and tries to get a draft, doesn't he? Heading up the hill.
Also makes himself just a little bit, makes it a little bit more difficult for the Nissan to go around two cars. Dylan Matchevin has gone through on Matt Plum, has he? Yes, he has. That's a great drive from Dylan Matchevin in the 28 Porsche. Chevy, McLaren, Porsche, top three different manufacturers in the overall lead. In ST, Mini, Porsche, Nissan, then the two BMWs, then two Mazdas, then two more Porsches. 11.5 minutes to go. Nobody is taking their eyes off this one. Jesse Lazare has cleared that battle as well now, so Vance, Voss and Trinkler can get back to their own scrap, not have to worry about the leader. It was half a second between those three before the lead cars in GS came through. It's opened out to a whole 9/10 of a second. Stephen Simpson has got to the head of the leading queue, of the chasing queue, excuse me, as we saw with that move from 6th to 4th, and he's pulled out 2.3 seconds on James Clay in the 84 black and white BMW. Subchak in the 34 orange Mazda, another 2 seconds back. So those three have split up just a wee bit, but no respite at all for James Vance. What a drive by James Vance, by the way, Jeremy, because he's had no time to himself at all. He's been watching his mirrors as well as trying to focus forward. Eric Voss and Owen Trinkler there.
Now there's no traffic at all between the two race leaders, and as a gap as they come across the line to complete lap 71 is 2 seconds only. So on that last lap, the gap has been whittled down by 3/4 of a second by Jesse Lazare. 28.30, a good lap by Robin Liddell.
Great lap. 28.3.
At this stage in the race with that big heavy Camaro, the relative weight of those two cars, the Camaro weighs in at 1495 kilograms, the McLaren at 1525. So unusually, the McLaren's actually a little bit heavier than the Chevy Camaro. Haven't said that for a while, have we?
Under 10 minutes to go. Robin Liddell can see now the second place Jesse Lazare in his rear view mirrors. Before anything else kicks off, I think it's worthwhile having a word with Michael Johnson. His teammate Stephen Simpson has pulled off one of the overtakes of the race to get that car into 4th, but it was a great first stint from Michael. That car and that driver pairing very competitive this weekend, Shea.
Michael Johnson, when you got out of the 54, it was already in a good place. Stephen Simpson made one of the passes the race for sure. How nervous are you sitting on the pit box watching potentially your best finish of the series?
Yeah, it's pretty nervous, and we deserve this. We've been working so hard the last year and a half to get this far, so hopefully we can pull it off and get this momentum going on to Lime Rock.
What's Stephen been saying on the radio? Much of anything?
He hasn't been saying much. He's just been super quiet.
That's a good sign. Good luck.
Thank you.
This from Right Turn Lover to IMSA Radio. Can we make this the impromptu 24 hours of Motorsport and just keep it going? It's not the worst thought, is it? All these cars have got headlights. We'll be fine. Robin Liddell by 4.4 seconds from Jesse Lazare and the McLaren. This would be a maiden victory, would it not, Jeremy, for the new version of the Camaro?
What a lap that was last time around by Robin Liddell. 26. No, beg your pardon.
27.8. Yeah, his best laps are 26. Yeah, I don't think we've seen the Stevenson car. It's won in World Challenge, hasn't it? Or it's certainly been on the podium in World Challenge.
And yeah, 27.8 is a great lap by Robin at this stage in the game. I mean, that car is capable. The best lap it's turned, I think, was a 20. I don't know earlier on. Where is it? Can't find it. But yeah, 27s, low to mid 27s is a good lap by him, and he's maintaining that gap now, and we're inside 7.5 minutes to go.
May I just bring up the spectre of fuel consumption?
Yes.
I'm not taking anything for granted at the moment. Kind of putting a sensible head on here with 7.5 minutes to go.
That's a first time for everything.
Oh, well, yes, there is. 4 seconds between first and second, 10 seconds between first and third, 11 seconds between first and fourth, 30 seconds between first and fifth. Those are the cars on the lead lap. Now, a drive down pit lane is about 30 seconds just for a drive through. Any time to add fuel on top of that. So anybody coughs, splutters or otherwise goes foot, they are in big trouble. No one is safe at the front of the field at the moment, and Robin Liddell pushing on. Another low 28 there. Matt Plum in the McLaren, 27.9, fastest man at the top of the field. And this battle in ST just will not be put out. We may have to throw a bucket of water over those three to split them apart at the end. If they were any closer, we need to introduce them slightly more. Vance, Foss and Trinkler. Mark Miller about to come through and lap those guys. And again, Trinkler goes to the left-hand side of the track nice and early, but he's not close enough this time. Is he trying to throw a bit of a dummy to Eric Foss? Foss has to take a defensive line into it, but you can't defend from the middle of the road there and then just hug the right-hand red and white curb. The Chris Hall-driven Ford, the number 7 Volt car, coming up to come through this battle as well. They are down in 23rd position, but still 9th in class.
Yeah, it's been a really good run by that number 17, the Volt Racing entry to this battle. There's what, maybe 3 mini lengths between itself and the Porsche Cayman, and less than that between, much less than that, between the 2nd and 3rd place cars, the Porsche Cayman, and that pursuing Nissan Altima. Who's doing a nice job, I mentioned a little while ago, is Britt Casey Jr. in 6th place. 3, 4, 6, 2, 3, 4, 7th place in ST.
Yeah, confirmed by Musing a moment ago. There has not been a win for that new GT4 Camaro in any of the series, including World Challenge yet.
Correct.
Second, I think, the best for Lawson Aschenbach.
Yeah, he's been on the podium.
He's down the inside for the lead in ST, Jeremy. Contact. And it's a slide. There's a contact at 5. Here's Trinkler. He's going to get second just for a moment. Oh, and Trinkler was in second, but the 56 Porsche has gone in the lead. But there was contact. There was heavy contact with the curb from the 56 Porsche of Eric Foss. And then there was contact into the side of the Mini, and Trinkler is right in the slipstream of the pair of them now. They're going to go side by side. Trinkler's going behind the Mini. I think that's a smart move. Tries to get down the inside, makes it 3 wide, 2.5 wide, let's say, over the top of the brow, and tries to sneak down the inside of the Mini. Oh, this could all end in tears yet.
Yeah, there was definite contact, wasn't there, from the Porsche Cayman. Was that a bit
Mini's
naughty?
gone wide, and here comes Trinkler. Trinkler up to second and drifts through on the Mini, tight on the inside of the last right-hander. Owen Trinkler's up to second. Eric Foss then down the hill from 4, swung out. That's okay. He clips the curb. As soon as he clips the curb, the car's launched and he's out of control.
Yeah, I think he's going to have to give up that position to the Mini, which means he's going to have to give it up to the Nissan as well. I'd be surprised. I mean, that was a dive bomb move there by Eric Foss. And he's going for a championship here. Does he really need to do that?
No, well, that's a great point, Jeremy. That is a great point. Everyone likes to win. Voss has cleared off for a moment. Trinkler in second place. He's not going to give back that position now, is he? So this could yet play into the hands of the Nissan Altima. The race director will be looking at that very closely. The first move I thought was inspired, coming out down the hill, got alongside, but he slightly misjudged his entry into 5A and clipped the end of that red and white curb. And when he did that, he launched the front of the Porsche into the air. And at that point, he's out of control.
Yeah, a bit naughty. Look, 3 minutes to go only, and Robin Liddell, he's got a 5.7-second lead. He's stretched the lead, and
He's
just
pulled
a
the pin.
magnificent drive. Super consistent by Robin Liddell.
Last pit stop for Robin Liddell on lap number 38, and we're on 76 now. Last pit stop for the 69 of Jesse Lazare on lap 44. So he's in much better shape than those around him, because everyone else was pitted on lap number 38. Damien Faulkner, the only one else who pitted in the 40s. That was lap 40, but he's a lap down. Is there a last roll of the dice? Shea Adam, at Stevenson, are we smiling at Stevenson yet, or are we getting out the pencil and doing lots of calculations?
Game faces, John. They're not giving anything away. These guys will be really good at poker.
Contact between two Mazdas at turn 10. 27 and 34 battling over 6th position. I think one of them might have spun. I don't know if he didn't. He did everything, but maybe he didn't, because there's no yellow flag.
No yellow flags in front of us, Jeremy. Great save. Oh, Trinkler's off. Trinkler's won very, very wide at turn 3. We've seen that accident many, many times. He's going to lose second position. The Mini's up the inside to the left-hander at 4, but no, Trinkler takes a deep breath, gets himself. He was getting a really good run on the leader there for a moment, and now he's going to have to defend on the exit of the Moss complex and onto the back straight. 4 seconds the lead as Jesse Lazare puts in a 28.8 against the 29.9 for Robin Liddell. But the battle in ST is spellbinding. It is, I am transfixed with this. It is, you cannot take your eyes off it. Eric Voss leads on the road.
Did they get the white flag this time?
Didn't see it. Not out, no. Trinkler, completely broadside, has more than a dab of oppo. He had the merest hint of the right-hand side Continentals on the curb and somehow managed to hold on to it and hold on to the position. I think he may be running out of grip, says Hindhoff from a long way back. Eric Voss leads on the road in ST. And again, Trinkler's gone wide. I think he's dirtied his tyres up. Thanks to Ryan Smith, by the way, for confirming that the Camaro hasn't yet had a GT4 victory in this, guys. White flag this time by for Robin Liddell. Where's the ST battle? Please tell me that the ST battle are a bit further back so we get a bit more. Robin held up a little bit, held up a lot, actually, coming into the final corner. And that will be a little bit of an advantage. Liddell pulls out, and the white flag is in the air. Liddell then will complete 79 laps.
Yeah, and by about 2 seconds. And that's why I asked whether they got the white flag last time around, because he could have probably lifted off there and got the win. Because I think it was only a couple of seconds. He's 4.5 seconds ahead of 69, and now he's got to do a whole extra lap.
2.5 miles. Has he got 2.5 miles in the tank?
He
Adam
must have.
is watching the guys at Stevenson. Are they looking happy yet?
I just heard a little gleeful laugh, but remember the last part of the 2.5 miles is pretty much all uphill.
Yeah.
So if it's going to cough and splutter on the straight, it's not going to make it back.
ST coming to the line to see their white flag, and the 56 car has got a car between himself and Robin Liddell, and Owen Trinkler. They get the white flag, 2.5 miles to go there, and it is one of the other Mosing cars that's between them. So Owen Trinkler will want to get by this Porsche if he's going to put any pressure at all on the leader. Very much a provisional result for Eric Voss. The Chevy Camaro has got towards the end of the lap. I'm listening to the engine.
2 corners to go.
2 corners to go. 6 seconds on Jesse Lazare. Is it Lazare that's in problems? Lazare's got traffic. Robin Liddell comes through, and he will anchor home the first GT4 Camaro victory.
28 car is going to get second place.
The 28 cars come through. It was a stunner from Lazare at the last, and at the line, it's Dylan Matchevin who's come through. It's Dylan Matchevin, and the 28
drive.
Porsches come through. Lazare down into 3rd place. Matt Plum was right there as well, Jeremy, the 76 car. So it was fuel issues, I'm fairly certain, at the end there. Little bit of traffic as well for Lazare, but he, remember, had pitted 6 laps later than everybody else, but he had been charging. Now in ST.
Meanwhile,
earlier in ST, you might remember.
Eric Foster's out front, having made the bump and run to take lead. He's going to quit in category. The battle going on though for 4th or 5th place.
Foss comes across and takes on the road the checkered flag. Second, Owen Trinkler confirmed in second as it stands. James Vance, the long-time leader, comes home on the podium in 3rd. And we'll just wait a moment before we go down to the winners of the race, because Stephen Simpson will come through in 4th position. Yes, he will. Then there's a cracking battle behind them. Let's hear from Matt Bell with his Continental Tire Pit Lane report.
Matt Bell winning in the Continental Tire Sports Car Challenge in GS in a Camaro. We've seen this before, but how good does this one feel?
It feels amazing. I mean, we've been off all weekend. I mean, we lost in qualifying by over a second, and all the practices. I mean, as soon as the McLaren seemed to really, push hard, they just killed us. So for us to engineer this car to be this consistent, to be as kind to the Continental tires, which stayed under us much better than we were expecting, and I think that was the key, right? We were just consistent. We were not fast at all. That McLaren kind of, whenever he wanted, seemed to take like a second and a half out of our time. But Robin kept it up front. He did such an awesome job. These guys are amazing. I mean, these are the brightest minds in the Continental paddock, in my opinion. And I think they show it with results like this. So I'm pretty happy about it. You know, Johnny and Susan Stevenson putting this group together and keeping this group together for this long is amazing. It's an honor to drive with them.
Awesome job today, Matt.
Thank you.
And hello to Johnny Stevenson, who isn't here this weekend, but I'm sure will be tuned in. Your guys did a great job. Absolute great job. And by the way, everything that Matt says there, but can I just credit as well, Robin Liddell took his chance to pounce early and take that lead.
Brilliant.
And I'm not sure that if he trailed them round lap after lap, he could have done that, Jeremy. And that is the mark of a driver who knows where his advantage lies. And that, for the championship, has implications.
Well, his win doesn't, because the Chevy wasn't at the first 2 races of the season. But for that team, for Chevrolet, for the series, fantastic. Look, we've had 5 races, we've had 5 different winners, we've had 4 different manufacturers in victory lane in GS. Can't ask for much more than that.
And the checkered flag in hand from the Scotsman as he comes down into the pit lane. Let's confirm the result then in GS. 6.4 seconds the margin of victory for Matt Bell and Robin Liddell in the Stevenson Camaro. That has a familiar ring to anyone who knows the history of the Continental Tire Sports Car Challenge. Dylan Matchevin right at the very death, nicking second place away from Jesse Lazare, putting Porsche into second for the 28 team, and the 69 McLaren dropping to third. Just holding on in a sprint to the line with Matt Plum just a 10th away in 4th position, the unlucky man off the podium. Mark Miller a further 27 seconds back, the fuel-saving ploy. Well, do you know what? One more lap, it might have been a different story. In ST, the bright orange and black number 56 Porsche has crossed the line ahead. Last 5-minute pass was a bit robust. Owen Trinkler in second by a second and a half, and another second and a half back, James Vance in the 7th.